we had to, now you see how we had to fight for free speech. When you show pictures of me in uniform, it was because men like you came by the score to our meetings, enormous meetings like that in Exhibition Hall, London, 30,000 people coming to listen to us, which was in perfect order, because we'd stopped people like you breaking up the meetings. And I did that with the Black Shirt movement, and I'm proud to have organized and led the Black Shirt movement to restore free speech to Britain. And mentioned for one clear reason, not anti-Semitism, because I contend and can prove that I've never been an anti-Semite, who I define as a man who's against Jews because they're born Jews. I, however, had a quarrel with certain Jewish interests, not all Jews, before the war for a perfectly specific reason. I, rightly or wrongly, thought they wanted a war with Germany, another world war. And I, as an ex-serviceman...
And rightly or wrongly, did you say?
Rightly or wrongly.
Well, did you think it rightly or wrongly?
I think it's still right to say that some Jews, many Jews, for very good reasons from their point of view, wanted a war with Germany.
But you were not anti-Semitic.
I was not anti-Semitic.
Now,
and I defined it at the time. I have the evidence of it and can prove it.
Yeah.
The point. Mosley at the moment tries to present himself as sweet and reasonable. He's not anti-Semitic. Here's a picture of him in 1962 with the leader of the neo-Nazi party in Germany, rapidly calling for a redivision of frontiers, the leader of the Belgian fascists, the leader of the Italian fascists, and a face, this was published in your fascist paper, that's blacked out or whited out. There it is. Who is this mystery man that you weren't prepared to show in your own paper? A war criminal? You are now busy going around Europe trying to rebuild your crooked cross international. You failed once, but you hope that the revival of German Nazis in Western Germany, the old gang coming out of their holes again, will give you another opportunity.
May I read your telegram to Stryker?
You can read it if you like, I don't care. But it is not a true telegram, and if it was, I wouldn't mind.
The telegram reads, I greatly esteem your message in the midst of our hard struggle. The forces of Jewish corruption must be overcome in all great countries before the future of Europe can be made secure in justice and peace. Our struggle is hard, but our victory is certain. And the Manchester Guardian and the German paper printed this telegram, and you never at the time denied it, Sir Oswald.
I'm proud to have organized and led the Black Shirt movement to restore free speech to Britain.
What have I got to talk to you about?
I've got to say about Islam and that, innit?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah? So why didn't you say it now?
What do you want me to say?
Yeah?
It's ideology, it's got no place.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's got no place, bruv.
And what you got?
Sharia law's got no place in
What
this
you
country.
got?
What do you mean, what have I got?
Go on, tell me innit, what do you stand for?
What do I stand for?
Yeah, what do you stand for?
Integration, bruv. I don't stand for paedophilic practices, yeah? Yeah.
What do you stand for? Go on, tell me.
What do you mean, what do I stand for? What do you stand for? How's it racism?
Eh?
How's it racism? How's it racist to oppose a fascist ideology?
Fascist ideology?
It is
And what
fascist.
do you? You're racist.
How am I racist?
You hate Asians,
what
yeah?
What race are
Yeah,
Asians?
yeah.
What race are Muslims?
I heard. Come on,
Down,
where
down,
are you running away from?
Because I know I'm not going to know what you like, bruv. You have about 100 you in a minute. You f***ing little chief. You f***ing chief.
and we're talking about an iron curtain of censorship that's taking place and multiple levels of a total power grab with political correctness, where they arrest police chiefs that talk about Muslim rapes in Sweden, where the Stasi has been reactivated and works for Facebook. You can't make this up. To arrest people that criticize Islam. Twitter and Facebook help the government of Pakistan find people that are atheist. They call it blasphemy, and they are executed. So you have to understand, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, Google, especially Apple, they're already working with the communist Chinese, rounding up the Christians and Buddhists. They're already working, helping the Arab Spring throw gays off buildings. The West funded that. The elites are allied with Islam because there's 1.8 million of them. The West is dying. And the decision hasn't been made to rehabilitate the Muslims and bring them into the West. I don't care if they got brown skin, a bunch of them. But their culture is pure, absolute evil, many of them. The biggest threat to a Muslim is other Muslims, as you know, Kaylin. So get into, I understand this Iron Curtain of tyranny. He simply reported that they were having, as you know, huge trials on the child kidnapping rings that he had first exposed and been put in prison for. They give him a sentence for that. Then he's given 13 months commuted. He simply goes and covers they're having a trial. Nothing about the details of the trial, just that there is a trial. That's totally normal under jurisprudence, English common law, Magna Carta, Bill of Rights, Constitution, and your own law. Everybody knows that. They take him to jail for that, and then they order everyone not to talk about it, period, and denotice hundreds of publications. As you said, talking to other members of the press, this is unprecedented, and we have seen thousands hit the streets. Describe what you've witnessed, the level of awakening here. This is beyond the old Soviet Union.
Do you think Islam is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us. There's something there that there's a tremendous hatred there. There's a tremendous hatred. We have to get to the bottom of it. There is an unbelievable hatred.
And he's probably being put in prison so that he can be killed while he's there. There are people saying that. I can believe it.
You know what's great? There's this video Tommy has up, and it has over 934,000 videos, and it's, I won't be around for much longer. The PC police are going to lock me up for using the wrong pronouns. But anyway, it's so funny, and then you see all these videos, the death of Tommy Robinson going to prison, a death sentence. Oh, well, he was in prison before, and he didn't get killed. You know, it's funny, though, if you really read this ur-fascism essay, you see Tommy, as predicted, as, you know, seen by Umberto Eco. In such a perspective, everybody is educated to become a hero. In every mythology, the hero is an exceptional being, but in ur-fascist ideology, heroism is the norm. And then it goes on to say near the end, by contrast, at the end, by contrast, the ur-fascist hero craves heroic death, advertises the best reward for a heroic life. The ur-fascist hero is impatient to die, and in his impatience, he more frequently sends other people to death. Okay, you guys are saying, right, that the cops are fascist because they locked up Tommy. Do you think, like Mussolini and Hitler, because Hitler is close to fascism, do you think that they would go around protecting Muslim immigrants from white people? Do you really think that's the... Tommy Robinson is not a rebel, he's not a fucking hero, he's a con man, and you think he's Jesus. This thing with Tommy Robinson, the idea that he's some kind of hero is absurd. And in ur-fascism, you always have these absurd kind of heroes. It's really bizarre. Fascism is a really bizarre thing, and it's just hilarious that people see this guy as a rebel, because if you look at leftist rebels, like Leonard Peltier, you know, Mumia Abu-Jamal, Martin Luther King, he was a big-time leftist socialist. George Orwell was a leftist. Albert Einstein, these people who were actual revolutionaries. George Carlson, they're exact opposite of Tommy Robinson. They didn't go around saying, yeah, we should pick on this minority group, or all these people over here are dangerous, this small group of people. They didn't. That's the same thing Sir Oswald Mosley would do. It's absurd that this guy is seen as some kind of hero and some kind of rebel. He's not. He has the same interests as the rich fat cats, as the Cato Institute, the Koch brothers, Tom Barrack. The Mercer family, Robert Mercer, played billions of dollars to put Trump in office. Koch brothers spent nearly $1 trillion, and they have the same politics on radical Islam as Tommy Robinson does. He's a fucking fraud.
In order to maintain public attention, you have to do something crazy. Otherwise, nobody's going to pay attention to you. If you do normal things, you'll be, you know, way back somewhere. So every day there's one insane thing after another. And then, you know, the media, he makes some crazy lie, you know, he had the biggest crowd in history or something, and the media looks at it and says, no, it wasn't the biggest crowd, but meanwhile he's on to something else, and then you go to that one. And while this show is going on in public, well, in the background, the wrecking crew is working. Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, the guys in the cabinet who write his executive orders. What they're doing is systematically dismantling every aspect of government that works for the benefit of the population. This goes from workers' rights to pollution of the environment, the rules for protecting consumers. I mean, anything you can think of is being dismantled. And all efforts are being devoted, kind of almost with fanaticism, to enrich and empower their actual constituency, which is super wealth and corporate power, who are delighted. That's why the stock market goes up. Stock market has not much to do with the economy, but keeps booming because that's the rich people, and they love being granted.
Law. Fascists think they're above the law. If you look at Mussolini, you look at even Hitler, a right-wing dictator, and the bizarre thing is he's a fascist because he thinks he's above the law. If you look at the ur-fascists, they're always out to get socialists. Same with Sir Oswald. He always justified his behaviors. Yeah, we use an open hand because a closed fist means socialism. They said it's the opposite. He always justified his authoritarian behavior on the fear of socialists. Same thing with Hitler. Burned down the Reichstag building. You know, he marched with signs that said death to Marxism, Hitler did. That's how much he loved Marxists and socialists. Why? Because he called himself a socialist. He's socialist. Tommy Robinson, he's a fucking fascist. He calls everything the government does to him as fascist. He interrupted a democratic process. When the Muslims were being tried there, they were being tried democratically. And he tried to use his fascist, totalitarian little fucking group of neo-black shirts and they're useful fucking idiots who think they're centrists on the internet. He's some kind of fucking hero to these people. It's disgusting. You're all Trump supporters. The funny thing is you read the essay on ur-fascism by Umberto Eco, and it writes about how fascism always both underestimates its enemies and overestimates its enemies. And this is the way they paint the left today. The left is both a cuck and weak, and they own everything. Even though the thing is, Rupert Murdoch owns most of the media news corp, right? And he's a big right-winger. He has the same exact politics as Tommy Robinson. Same fucking politics. How is that rebellious? It's not.